Let's start with CAF.
Yeah.
I think just as Arsenal were wrapping up their game, we heard the news break. And actually, I want to shout out to, I don't know who posted it on our No Fly Zone group, so I just want to apologize to him because I know when he
Yeah, I
had
can't
posted
remember the
that,
name.
yeah, I don't remember who it was, but someone had posted that,
Yeah.
Morocco they had appealed and CAF had already basically made a decision to strip Senegal. At the time, it wasn't official yet, so it was just like
No.
rumors. And
Yeah.
I checked Grok. I just went on Grok and
Mm-hmm.
asked, "Is this true?" And it said no. So I guess
Yeah.
AI is not really taking our jobs. And I and I said to that guy that we should be more conscious, which I
Mm-hmm.
believe, by the way, to be true, that we shouldn't be spreading false news and just do some background check. But it ended up being true because just a few minutes after the news broke, so he was right in the sense that CAF had made the decision to strip Senegal off the title and award it back to Morocco.
Yeah.
But that aside, that was such a crazy news to break at the time. Like I couldn't believe what I just read. So
Yeah.
I'll give you the chance to give your own thoughts on what you felt when you saw that.
It was just like you said when actually I just checked. His name was David who posted it. And
Shout out David. Shout out David.
yeah, shout out to David. I know when I saw it, I was like, my first reaction was like, what? I was like, okay, then you responded, and I'm like, okay, yeah, so there's nothing official about it, right? Because it also sounded
Yeah.
crazy. Let's be
It
honest. I think
sounded
that
really
was,
ridiculous.
yeah, it
Yeah.
sounded very crazy. That's why we all had that type of reaction, right? And then a
Right.
few minutes later, we see the likes of Fabrizio actually tweeting it and saying, oh, wow, it's actually true. And I just remember just shaking my head, and it's just like, why always us, right? Like we've done so much work in building football back in Africa and trying to make it one of those, like, especially the African Cup of Nations, one of those tournaments where the whole world gets to see us showcase our own talent and our own culture in terms of football. And we've spoken about what happened in that final a few episodes ago, and to see them drag us back into that moment was just, I think it was very embarrassing for CAF as a whole, as an organization, right? Because we've had the likes of like Jimmy Carragher and other like big pundits who have tried to put down African football, the Nations Cup and its talent. And you literally are almost giving into that and giving those people more excuses to say, this is why we say what we say about African football, right? I've been of the opinion that I think, I don't know if I'm right, so I don't think anyone should like or just take whatever it's saying with a pinch of salt, because it's just my own opinion. I feel CAF have just been put into a tight corner by Morocco. And the situation and the reason I say that is because I know Morocco has been one of those countries who have bailed out CAF in a few situations in terms of like hosting events. When,
Mm-hmm.
for example, CAF might want to do some sports event in Togo, and at the dying minute, Togo comes back and say, hey, we're not really ready to host this event. And Morocco has always been there for CAF to come out and say, you know what, we'll take care of this for you. Right after the African Nations Cup in January, for those who follow a little bit into women's football, they would know that Morocco actually cancelled their rights to host the African Women's Nations Cup, right? And definitely you could know that was in retaliation to what happened in the final, because it literally made no sense. And today you're coming back as an organization and saying you are going to strip those title off Senegal and give it back to Morocco. There was already all types of accusations that happened during the tournament that things were being in the favor of Morocco. Then we see what happens in the final. The players walk off the pitch, they come back, the referee is still on the pitch, they play the penalty, they go into extra time. We don't get no, if you even think about it, at no point was forfeit being talked about during that final, even when the players were walking out. And then 2-3 months down the line, this is what you're coming back with. It's just an it's ridiculous by CAF. And I think Senegal will be putting some type of appeal. I think they're taking it to the sports court, and I hope those people actually do uphold like the integrity of African football, even if the guys in charge of Dutch football don't want to uphold that integrity, right? So it was really embarrassing to read those and see how people were talking about it in the media and all around the world. And I just hope they just get their act together, because what makes these are the kind of things that also destroy future of African football in its own entirety.
Hmm.
So hopefully we get some much better news. And I'm sorry, shame to Morocco, man. Like, I actually enjoy watching them play football, but to see where they've dragged this situation to is a little bit embarrassing. But we'll see. How what was your take when you saw it?
I mean, I think I messaged, you and we're in some of the same groups, and
Yeah.
again, my initial reaction, and again, apologies to David on No Fly Zone. I thought it was crazy that it was so crazy there had to be misinformation, and that's
Mhm.
why I responded the way I did, where it's like, hey, because obviously trusting Grok more than we should,
Mhm.
and Grok at the time, because it wasn't public
It
yet,
was,
right? It
yeah,
wasn't
because it was even few minutes after that that
after
Fabrizio
that.
actually tweeted it. Yeah.
Correct, right. So at the time, it wasn't public. So Grok, I guess, was correct in the fact that it wasn't news at the time,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
correct at the time. But that's how crazy it sounded to me, that there is no way, what is it, 70 days or 70 plus days after the final has been decided. And I think the first thing that came to my mind, and I shared it on the group chat that we're on, is what game was forfeited, right? Because Morocco can make the argument that there was a forfeit if you continue to play the game, right? It is implied that you participated in the game after the fact that the players walked off the pitch, right? Because they did come back, you did play a penalty, you missed it, you agreed to go to extra time, you played extra time, you lost the game in extra time. So I couldn't understand what was forfeited in that situation. And I think CAF has really, really played themselves in this one, because I laid out the case for Senegal to go to the court of arbitration, and I think they'll win pretty easily. They'll get that
Yeah.
tossed out pretty easily,
Very
because
easy.
the role
Yeah.
of the referee in this case has to be examined. The referee,
Mhm.
as far as I understand it, has the final say on the proceedings in the game. And he blew the whistle for the penalty. He blew the whistle for the extra time to kick off, both first half and second half and final whistle. So by
Yeah.
all accounts and intent, the referee brought the game to the natural conclusion of the game. So I don't understand the case Morocco has here. And like I said, I fully expect that Senegal win. It doesn't cover anybody
Mhm.
in great light. I think Senegal, obviously, in the time I shared how critical I was of the behavior, but we've moved past that. The game came to its natural conclusion. They won. Congrats to them. And to do anything else outside of that, outside the pitch, is just an embarrassment, both
Yeah.
for Morocco and for the governing body CAF in this case. It doesn't
Yeah.
help to put Africa in a good light. So I wish Senegal all the best. I think they're going to win this pretty easily in the court of arbitration,
Yeah.
and I think they'll restore themselves as the rightful winners of the Nations Cup.